Hello everyone and welcome to Love Qualified. My name is Joanny, and as some of you may know, I have been working on my first novel since September 2017, and at the beginning of this month, which is March 2019, I sent off the fourth draft of my manuscript to some beta readers to read and give me feedback, and I have received some feedback which we are going to talk about today. Yep, we're going to talk about the feedback. So as some of you may be able to tell, I am not in London. I'm not in my usual setup, which is my university room, and you will be right in thinking that because I am at home for the Mother's Day weekend, and that's why you have a different background and you have this lovely flower right here. And yeah, so I got some feedback back from one of my beta readers. So the plan was for them to read it throughout the month of March and then let me know by the end, get back to me with some feedback. If you guys watched my previous video, you would have seen all my thoughts and how I was arranging everything to send to beta readers. So I had 3 beta readers where I only sent the first 3 chapters to because they didn't have time to read the whole novel, and then I had 4 beta readers where I sent the full manuscript to. And out of those 4, one of them is an editor, and so that made me even more nervous because I was like, she's gonna think my manuscript is rubbish, she's gonna think it's absolute trash, and that's gonna make me feel really discouraged. As you might have seen from that previous video, I was so terrified, but I was also so excited to see what they think about these stories. I can't begin to tell you guys how close this story is to my heart. I set up the documents on Google Docs and I gave access to all of my beta readers. I made separate files for each of them, and then I sent it to them so they could read it. The funny thing about Google Docs is that you can see the comments as they come in. So every time someone makes a comment on your manuscript, you get an email saying that they've made a comment. So I would be, I don't know, in the middle of studying and I'll get an email saying that this person has commented, and I'll go and read the comments, and then, you know, my heart every time I'll be getting like palpitations, being like, oh my god, what has this person said? Oh my gosh, they didn't like this chapter. Obviously there were things that they didn't like and some things that they really loved, which was good, but every single time I got an email, my heart sunk. I'm not even joking, my heart sunk. So there's 3 things I've learned from this whole beta reading process. The very first thing is it has taught me to get a thick skin, you know. I'm someone who can take criticism very personally, very personal. So when I work so hard on something and someone bashes it or doesn't like it, I can become really discouraged. And you know, I've already been facing ups and downs in this whole writing journey, being a new writer and all. I've only been writing since January 2017, so this was going to be a do or die situation kind of for me, in terms of if I had really discouraging feedback, I probably would have, you know, decided to stop writing anyway, or just stop working on this novel per se, because I have no experience in creative writing. So as you guys may know, my first book is a non-fiction and it's a devotional. I'm more comfortable writing stuff like that than writing fiction, you know, or doing creative writing. As one of my beta readers, she was so helpful. Her feedback was so encouraging. This is the editor, by the way. She's the editor, and she was so amazing, guys. I can't even. And I found her on Twitter. You know how God just directs your path to meet the right people who will help you? Like, honestly, this was not a coincidence. This was not a mistake. She's so busy. Like, she's an editor, she's writing her own book, you know, she understands the whole writing process. And to think that I found her at the right time when I was thinking about sending my book off to beta readers, and I asked her, she didn't even say no. She was like, you know what, I'm happy to help you. And she was so quick. She read the book in 2 weeks and she left specific specific feedback. It was very specific, and you know, she told me what was good, what she enjoyed, and what she didn't like, and she even made some suggestions on how I could make it better. She's just so amazing. So anyway, going to things, the three things that I got from this beta reading process. The first thing is that my first chapter doesn't really work. So you know how they always tell you that the first chapter is supposed to grab the reader, you know, it's supposed to be something that the reader will be so interested in and stuff like that. So my first chapter is a fight scene between one of my main characters and some antagonist character. But more than one beta reader told me that they thought the fight scene was a little bit forced because I didn't flesh out the perspective enough for them to understand what was going on, for them to pick a side in the fight. So you know, it just seemed really unnatural and unrealistic. And the reason why I didn't flesh out that bit was because I wanted to reveal the reason why they were fighting much later on in the story, but not much later, like 4 or 5 chapters down the line. So now I have to think about it. It's either I reveal that the reason for them fighting at the beginnings in the first chapter, or I just scrap that fight scene and just, you know, rewrite the whole first chapter. And at the moment I am considering rewriting the whole first chapter, but I'll have to think about it. And then the second thing is that my second main character, the boy, so there's a boy and a girl. My second main character, who's the boy, he is my favorite. He's my favorite character, I'm not gonna lie to you. And one of my beta readers said that he was her favorite character as well, and she feels that his story has a lot of potential, and it would be good to figure out an actual arc for him. Because what I think I was doing is that because I was focusing more on the girl, which is telling her story, I didn't focus on the character arc of this boy, and instead of just focusing on building and developing him throughout the book, I just sort of inserted him wherever I wanted to in the girl's story. So when I started writing the book, at first it was all in the girl's perspective, so it was just one person's perspective. Then I decided to change it in my second draft and make it a dual perspective, so the boy and the girl. But then when I did that, I didn't figure out the arc and so of the guy. So now I need to figure it out, because I feel like there's many more things that I could develop in his story, and I really love his story, but I didn't really think about it that way. But now that the beta readers have mentioned it, I think it makes sense. So I need to work on my outline again. I need to rework my outline in such a way that I can develop the story of the second main character, because he has his own story and his experiences are very different from the girl. And even though they're kind of going through similar things and trying to figure the same thing out, their stories are very different, their journeys are very different, so I need to develop their journeys. And the third thing I learned is that I need to figure out that my character motivations. There's some things that they do that aren't quite clear, that aren't quite clear to the reader. They're clear to me as the writer because I know why they're doing those things, but it's not clear to the reader why. So I need to explain things a bit more so that it's clear and not confusing. And also I need to work on my descriptions and making the imagery like stronger imagery, and like describing things a bit more, and just to give like like using all the different senses and stuff like that, and just to make things more clear to the reader. So what I've been doing going forward so far, I have made a new outline. So this is my outline for draft 5. I was working on it during this weekend while I've been at home. So I've got 5 pages of the outline, and I was specifically looking at the arc, so building working on the character arcs of my 2 main characters, and making sure that I sort out what their motivations are, why they do things especially, And I'm doing this because for draft 5 I want to work on all this feedback that I've gotten from my beta readers and hopefully make the story better. I loved this process, even though it almost gave me a heart attack every time I got an email, but I think it's been really encouraging. Moving forward, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to leave my manuscript alone for the whole month of April. I'm going to be taking part in Camp NaNoWriMo, but I'm not going to be working on the actual manuscript. I'm going to be doing other things relating to writing, and I'm going to work on some creative writing exercises. So just getting myself practicing, doing some writing prompts, and getting other things to help me to learn more stuff about creative writing, so that when I go back into editing or revising my draft 5 to revising my draft 4, I would be more prepared on what to do and other change stuff. So that's the plan for now. And then in May, hopefully I'm going to print out my manuscript for draft 4. The next round of revisions, I'm going to do it on paper. I'm so excited. I'm going to print out my manuscript. It's going to be so cool. I don't know why I'm so excited, but I'm just so excited. And yeah, and then I'm going to work on it on paper. So I am just looking forward to that. It's going to be amazing. One of my beta readers said that she really enjoyed my story and she believes that the world needs to hear it. That is the most encouraging thing that I've ever heard. I don't want to reveal too much about the story, but I have made up my mind that I'm going to tell you guys what the story is about, but not in this video. I'm going to make a separate video to tell you guys what my novel is about, not in detail but some bits. So if you want to know what my novel is about, just leave a comment down below or let me know in some way. I will do a work in progress tag soon just to let you know what the story is about, and then I can make another video talking about my characters if you guys care, my 2 main characters, if you guys care about that. But yeah, I'm so excited. I've really enjoyed the beta reading process. I feel really encouraged. I feel really called to write the story, and I think it's a unique story. It means so much to me because of the inspiration behind the story, and like I said, I believe that the world needs to hear all of our stories. So I just wanted to say that, if you are writing, keep going. If you're a writer, keep going, keep working on that novel, give people to read. Don't be scared of getting feedback. I know you can't really tell people don't be scared, because you can't help being scared, because it's like your baby, or you're putting it out there in the world for people to critique. So yes, you can be scared, but you need to remember that they're trying to help you. Like I said in my video, the vlog that I did over Christmas, I said that there's nothing more I can do for this story unless I let people read it and give me feedback. And that's why I just had to force myself to give people to read, because there was nothing more that I could do for that story. And I'm so glad that I did, because I've learned so much from this journey, and I'm so excited to see what I'm going to do. I believe, like one of my beta readers said, she said that it's a solid foundation, and so but that there's so much more room for improvement. So I'm so grateful. If you're looking for beta readers, my advice would be that check on the online community. I love Twitter. Twitter is there's a massive writing community on Twitter, like hashtag your book genre, hashtag I'm writing fiction, I'm writing fantasy, I'm writing Christian fiction, which is what I'm writing. So my book is a young adult contemporary Christian fiction. And there's so many other groups that you can join on YouTube, on Instagram, on Twitter. There's so many. The writing community is so good. You can make so many good friends, and then they can help you as well to beta read for you or be critique partners. So yeah, anyway, that's all what I wanted to share with you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know down below if you have written a novel, where you are in your writing process, and if you've had any experience with beta readers. Share in the comments down below. I'd like to know. Thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely day, and God bless. Bye. In the name of Jesus. I'm free. Oh, yeah. I'm free. I found my freedom. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. It's
This is a wonderful something. I'm just saying thank you. I found my freedom. Praise the Lord.